welcome to this week's devlog video. The last devlog video was a little bit too Kickstarter focused, but this video will only be about the development again. If you want to be up to date about the current Kickstarter, I've uploaded a video last Wednesday. Otherwise you can keep watching this video since the progress has been quite huge, which was surprising for me as well. And at the end of the video there is an announcement about the game release, so I would suggest to watch the video until the end. But let's go and start with the updates of last week. Since Roadshow City got a little bit more traction over the past few weeks, I was able to get some new feedback. And watching other people playing the game brought in some new insights how the game should be improved. So the first thing I've completely worked over was the new task and tutorial system. The previous task system was very small and not intuitive at all. Some of the players even did not recognize it. The previous tutorial system was embedded in the notification system on the right, which made it hard for new players to make out a difference between tutorial and just simple notifications. The new task system is much better visible for the player, and it's more obvious that this is a task the player has to do. When a new task pops up, you can instantly see what it's about and the condition what needs to be fulfilled. The window can be minimized manually to the top of the screen, but this will also happen automatically if you don't touch the task window for a while when a new task came in. I also added some new building information. First I added a small panel which appears above the building panel, which shows you the currently placing object. And now you see the information how to rotate a building directly on the mouse cursor. Another thing I've worked on was the apartment behavior. In one of the last versions they caught fire quite quickly, which had several reasons. For example, if a player needed too much time to place buildings for new apartments, the satisfaction went down fast because there was a very negative trend in the apartment. This has been changed since there is now a freeze for apartments, so they will keep their satisfaction for a while even the trend is negative. In the last version, burning apartments always burned down no matter how long it took the fire station to send out a fire engine to extinguish the fire. That was kind of annoying for some players, so I've changed that. There now is a high possibility that the apartment can remain unchanged, but the longer it takes for the fire engine to get to the fire, the more the possibility is that the apartment burns down. So the player always have to make sure that there are enough fire engines available and the traffic isn't that high, otherwise he might lose some apartments with some good players. In case an apartment burns down, it can be renovated. And there was a small bug I fixed since a renovated building always took over the satisfaction value of the previous building. The problem was that this satisfaction was at 0 since the apartment were burning, and burning apartments have a temporary satisfaction value of 0 because people are quite unhappy in a burning apartment obviously. So this has been changed and renovated apartments now have the default satisfaction value again. I also kept working on balancing. I've made few changes to the people in the world. Now it's a little bit easier to make people come into your city, but it's also a bit harder to reach the limit for each apartment. I also increased the amount of people in an apartment and raised the income a bit. The reason for this was a design change on apartment needs. In the previous version there was the police station as a level 1 need, which still is the case, but you were not be able to unlock the police station unless you had a level 3 apartment, which might have taken a while to get there. Now it's possible to build the police station right away with the hospital and the fire station, but you also have to assign more jobs at the beginning due to the police station, and that's why I made the few apartment changes. Moreover, the bank is now also a part of the level 1 needs, So the player is now be able to build up a bank in the first part of the game to get a credit in case of financial problems. The need for the playground has been moved to level 2 and the supermarket to level 3. Another issue which surprised some players a bit was that there came in notifications that a new player has joined the team, but there haven't been a football field built so far. I realized that this is quite unrealistic, so I've changed that behavior. You can only get players for your mini team if there is at least one training field assigned to it. The building time for buildings have been removed in the building panel since it was kinda useless and no one really cared about this information. So I thought about things which could be more useful and I decided another change. I removed the previous tech tree since most of the feedback showed me that players got rather more confused by the tech tree window as it helped them. So I put the building condition in the building panel so the player can now easily see what is needed to build a specific building. I think it's a much better place over there since that's the moment the player wants to place a building anyway. So there now is the information why he might not be able to build it. The other part of the information from the tech tree has now been moved to the pop-up windows. With this change there comes the disadvantage that the player can only see the information when the building has already been placed, but the most necessary information will be communicated by better descriptions in the building panel and by better explanations in the new task system. The next feature I've changed might surprise some of the players, but I've decided to remove the Upgrade All Apartments button from the Mayor House. The reason for this change was that most of the players thought it was only a reward that apartments can be upgraded and there will be more tax income and stuff like that. But they completely forgot that an upgraded apartment also have more needs. And if they won't be fulfilled, the satisfaction will suffer from this update and everything gets worse. So I want the player to sensitize for the upgrade process, which can still be made in the single apartment which should be upgraded. If you haven't noticed that already, I increased some font sizes a bit, since it was quite small on some screens what I've seen. I'm working on quite a big screen, so I didn't notice that by myself. Since it's a huge effort to implement a scalable UI stuff, I've made this change first. Right now I'm working on some funding stuff and of course the balancing. If you follow the Kickstarter, and you might have seen my video last Wednesday, there might be the case that the Kickstarter won't make it, and that made me think about the future of the project. I got some messages and mails with the question when the game comes out, and well, the demo looks quite cool and when am I able to play it and stuff like that. And I came to the following. Actually, I've planned to release the early access version on Steam by the end of May. Since I've made a very good progress last week and there are only 6 tasks on my to-do list, I thought about releasing the game a little bit earlier than I originally planned. Of course that leads to a bit less content, but I've thought about it and came to the following solution. The game will be on Steam earlier, it will be an early access alpha version, and I also thought about the pricing. Originally I already set it up to $11.99, but I will change it to $9.99 for the early access, and the price for the full release game will be at $14.99. So the price is now better comparable to the Kickstarter campaign, and I hope to get a lot more feedback when releasing the game a little bit earlier, and I think that the game is currently in quite a good shape to stick to a plan like this. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked the week's progress. Like the video if you haven't already. If you want to get notified when another video comes out, just subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. Have a great start into the next week and see you next time. Cheers.